Buckets. That's the name of my boat. Buckets.
Buckets. What we get.
Not the only transfer we got from Florida. Keith Stone, too. Remember that.
Everybody who watches his show on a regular basis knows my love of the stretch four.
You know, we all make mistakes. He might have made one going to
Mercy
Tallahassee.
if y'all don't know. Dribble to the left, cross over to the right. Hurricane to the game, many buckets for the night. Matt with the pick and roll, Melissa with the give and go. This Shelly, you hoodie girl dunking in the hole. Check the scoreboard, this what we fall for. Peep the gameplay, they want an encore. Yeah, overtime for another round. It's buckets out the buckets, baby. You're out of time. It's buckets. What it is, homie, it's buckets. Woo! We get buckets. Yeah, baby, buckets.
I have no shame.
I know. That's the problem.
You guys are awesome.
Welcome to another episode of Buckets. I'm Matty, guys. He is Vish. He is Melissa. I got totally caught off guard by that, Vish.
I warned you it was coming when the intro was playing.
Vish doesn't tell us about his new graphics. Every week it's something new.
Well, not
I
every
love
week.
surprises, though.
You asked for the last one. This one you didn't, but I felt
Well, I
it
did
was
say
warranted.
before. I asked Vish before the show if we could discuss my hoodies.
I know. I was like, well, I'm not ruining that. I locked it onto the end of the intro, and it's gonna play every time now.
I am wearing a new hoodie. It's not my hoodie, but I am wearing a new hoodie.
There we go.
Well, why don't you, for those that did not catch the intro and are not aware, why don't you tell everyone what we're talking about and what's behind you on your board?
So I had the honor of collabing with About the Fans. They're a Miami fanwear site. Their creator AB and I have been working together for about a month now, coming up with designs for some really cool Canes hoodies, obviously, with a little hoodie girl spice. So if you head over to aboutthefans.com, you'll see it on the main page, but you can search for hoodie girl and the 4 hoodies will show up. The 2 black pullover hoodies do run a little small, so I suggest you size up. There is a reminder when you go to order that it's there. We've got 3 pullovers and 1 zip up. Yeah, support your fellow Canes fans. And there is a Hoops hoodie. I will say there is one of the hoodies is dedicated to Hoops. Obviously, that was going to happen. I almost was like, oh, we should put a bucket on the other sleeve, but I didn't. But yeah. That would have been a cool little shout out. But please support. If you do get one of my hoodies, make sure you post a picture of yourself in it, tag us, let me know. But yeah, let me know which one's your favorite.
Exciting stuff.
Vish bought all 4. Matt claims he's going to buy one. And yeah, but
yeah, just put me on blast in front of everyone.
Well, Matt needs to get his. Matt, you're chopping on the screen again, at least for me.
Am I really?
Oh.
Yeah, hold on. Let me try something real quick. Give me a second. Let me try something here.
Oh shit.
Hi, it's Coach Katie on the boat called Buckets. Wishing you a happy birthday. It's a glorious day down here in the Keys. I just want to thank you for all the coverage, all the support, all the love. I still got those shorts for you. Happy birthday, with love. Bye.
Vish is full of surprises today.
I know.
Coach is living it up on Buckets and in the Keys. But shout out to Coach. Thank you. My birthday's on Friday. But yeah, thanks, Vish. That was cool.
Then you kept bugging me of like, have you talked to Coach? I'm like, yeah, I talked to Coach. I've been scamming behind your back for like a week. Relax.
She hasn't read my DM yet. She is part of one of the hoodies. Definitely go buy a hoodie. The Larinaga Meyer 23 hoodie.
There we go.
That was cool. I'll have to
Well,
clip that later.
I'll send you the actual video. I have it obviously.
Yeah,
Too.
that was sick.
All right. Well, shout out to Dan Barry, Canes Cats Heat. We got baseball tomorrow, and we still haven't scored. In case you're wondering, we're gonna actually talk about who might be coming back.
Yeah,
Shout
every
out
week
to
there's new things.
shout out to now East
Nate
Coast
is now
Nate.
an East Coaster living in upstate New York. Good stuff. He says he lives by a Moe's. So he can get his Moe's on, and he said he's about an hour from Syracuse, so he's gonna start going to the Miami games when they play Syracuse. So
Makes sense.
welcome back
Oh,
to
no.
the East Coast.
He's gonna have to see Lampkin in person.
I know, right? Welcome back to the East Coast, Nate. Glad to have you. So excited. He's also getting married soon. So congrats, Nate. Good stuff.
Congrats. I know. I remember he's getting his suit fitted or something. He was getting fitted for a suit, right, or something.
Yeah, he's getting. I think he said in June or July, he's getting married. So good stuff. He and the wife are both graduates from Miami. So. So Matt, did you get permission to Did he freeze? Oh, I thought you froze for a second.
No,
you just don't blink very often. You don't blink.
I blink all the time.
Wow.
I blink all the time. I noticed that.
No, you looked frozen for like a second because you didn't blink, and I was like, wait, did he freeze again? Did you get permission from the wife to buy a hoodie yet?
Oh yeah, no, I have permission.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah, I just have to do it.
Oh, Vicious, is that you sending me the video file?
I assume you wanted it.
Okay. Should we talk basketball?
I mean,
yeah. What do we
have
talk
to?
about
We have
first?
to. I mean,
let's talk about our two newest guys.
Okay.
Matt posted an insane breakdown on Twitter. I reposted it from the Buckets account and from my account as well. But check out Matt's Twitter. I don't know how long it took him to do that breakdown, but it's absolutely insane. So Matt, tell us.
Yeah, so it started out me watching our two games with them, and then I kind of wanted to see him going against like traditional bigs too. So I watched him against UNC and against Boston College. So I watched about I think it was 8 games. So I watched 8 Virginia Tech basketball games. So yeah, it was a lot, but I feel like the more that I watched, I was definitely hesitant at first, just because of obviously we didn't know the Brandon Johnson news. So it was more of will Norchad fit next to him and that type of thing. Now I mean, either way, even if Norchad was coming back and hypothetically Brandon Johnson hadn't just committed, I think I still would have felt good about it just because of the way he plays, he obviously scores a lot in the low post, but I think he's someone that's very mobile and he can do a lot on the offensive side of the floor in terms of, keeping the floor spaced, even though he isn't someone that, scores on the perimeter. I think that's the biggest thing. And he's able to find open areas on the floor too to get easy shots and create, really nice passing lanes for his teammates. And, I think he's going to be really good for us,
What do you think he needs to work on?
I just think, I mean, with how old he is and whatnot, I don't think there's much in terms of.
I was about to say at this point, it's kind of, I mean.
He is what he is.
Yeah, this is the player.
So
but he hasn't been coached by Larinaga yet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say developing more of a mid-range shot and whatnot. He's an 84% free throw shooter. I just don't think it's really his game. I just don't think we're gonna really. We might see it a little bit, but I just don't think that's where he's at his best. And like we saw with last year, don't really want to force guys into positions they're not comfortable with. He's just so good with setting screens and reading the defense and knowing when to dive to the basket or just when to dive to the basket at all. And he's really good when he's posting up. He knows okay, I need to move to the side. My guy's about to drive in right now. I'm going to create space. I'm going to run the baseline at a certain angle and get a wide open layup. based on how the defense is reacting and help side. I mean, I guess the one thing I would say is his post defense. Like, that was one of the things I talked about a little bit briefly. But I think, he's 6'10". He's, not the biggest guy. He's not going to be this bruiser down low that's just going to, completely stop, post players. But I think what his strength is with his mobility again on defense. So, the ability to hard hedge screens and recover at a high level and, understand how to play passing lanes so you don't give up easy baskets. I think that's one of his strengths, as a defender.
So I do think, and I'm interested to get both your takes on this. We have talked a lot about how Coach L is not like he's not Jim Boeheim. He's going to run his 2-3 zone until he retires. Like, he's changed systems multiple times, and I do think one of the reasons you target Lynn Kidd, and I'm sure part of the sales pitch is, I know Matt's right. He does, based on his free throw shooting and some of his mobility and skill, it does seem like he could play further away from the basket. I think we got him to be able to dump the ball into the post and get points off the block, because we just had no ability to do that. It was all jump shots, all the way where Chad tends to float around the perimeter quite a bit too and try to make plays off the dribble. So I think it was just a little bit of a kind of throwback to when we used to always have big that we try to throw the ball in and play through sometimes, and we just didn't have that the last few years. But obviously it worked out really well for us until last year. But I do think this is a little bit of a reset.
Well, it's crazy too, because he played 23 minutes a game and he put up almost 16 points a game. So he's super efficient because he gets so many good looks on offense, because he understands, how to get to those open spaces and whatnot.
But also, you look at who Coach L is bringing in or keeping. I mean, we're going to talk about Brandon Johnson after that, who
13
can
points,
shoot.
sorry.
Yeah, who can shoot. Lynn Kidd's got a post game. We've got some height there. But you also look at, Nigel's coming back. That's someone you have to guard all over the floor. You're going to have a guy like Jaleel who can shoot the three, who can drive. I think there's going to be a lot more offensive options next season. Like, obviously, we got to see who else is coming back, who else we bring in, and how the team gels. But just some of the pieces that we have now, it just seems like we're going to be more efficient at scoring, but in different ways too. We're not going to just live and die by the three all the time.
Yeah, the other thing, Matt, you mentioned he played 23-ish minutes a game. They had another center, Poteet, who was the big lumbering guy that would actually get in there and bang with kind of bigger players. Do you think that's gonna we don't know, and we're gonna Melissa said, we're gonna talk later about there's been a couple of additions and obviously Nigel coming back. What do you think that means for the rest of the roster? But do you think Kidd is capable of just he's gonna play now 30 to 35 minutes and kind of handle that kind of a load or not? Because they never asked him to really do that at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be more minutes. I think part of it too is his first 2 years, he was kind of, improving as a player and whatnot. His third year was really, where he took a jump, right? I do think he is going to play a lot more minutes here, whether it's playing. I don't think it's going to be anywhere crazy in terms of how we've played with our starters with where they play almost the entire game. But I definitely see him playing around, 30, maybe a shade under that. But I think too, this is.
Yeah, I could see that being the reason why he came here, though.
Yeah.
He wants more minutes.
Yeah, he wants more minutes.
He's going to be 5.
Yeah, and we recruited him out of high school and the first time he entered the portal before he went to Virginia Tech, I think it was. So there was always that connection. And then, when you look at him as, as a big, he kind of fits what we're already trying to do, with what he does defensively and on the offensive side of the floor. I've heard a lot of people talk about, I feel like people are so focused on looking at stats and really dictating that to fit their narrative in terms of obviously he doesn't get a ton of blocks, right? But I would say just from watching the film, he doesn't really try to go for blocks. He's much more concerned with boxing out and just making sure that, as a team, He's going to help limit second chance opportunities. He had the third highest defensive rebounding percentage in the ACC. And I mean, you see that he boxes out every play. Like he always has a body on someone. He did a really good on Norchad in the two matchups. Yeah, in the two matchups we had, he limited Norchad to 1 offensive rebound, and it's so funny. I was going to post this on the breakdown. The one time Norchad got an offensive rebound was when he actually went for a block and help side Lynn Kidd because his teammate got beat. So, you know, definitely I can see him. You know, he just fits with what we do on offensive and defensive side of the ball. But yeah, and his mobility is the thing that sticks out the most on both sides.
Yeah, and we had talked about that, you know, the whole like there's an art to boxing out that I think we tend to you know equate giving up offensive rebounds to effort. We had a lot of guys efforting last year that did not know how to box out, you got to find an offensive player and put your ass on them. That's what the box out is. It's not just going to the board to grab the rebound. And so I do think, you know, someone that's kind of predisposed to doing that is
Nate. That's if Norchad stays.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. There it is. There it is. Just a couple of other things. Just shouts to some people in the chat. Terrence. Yeah. No, I think that's the goal. I think is to be more well rounded, and then I think we're going to talk about Brandon Johnson too in a bit. But and I think again building depth. Yeah, just building depth. I mean, we can talk about the guys that have entered the portal. Other than Bensley, they were they weren't good. Whether or not they would eventually develop, and some of them were younger, you know, they had time to develop, but like what we were coming with off the bench was garbage. And we had 6 guys that could play, and we talked about that all last year. We had 6 guys. The drop off to 7 was massive. Like drop off to 7 was guys should not be on the court. Then when we got injuries, those guys were on the court significantly, and that's one of the reasons the season fell apart. But yeah, I think the goal is I wouldn't even necessarily say play 9 guys because that is a lot in college. When you have a 40-minute game, but to have
7 or 8.
have a legitimate rotation where you're comfortable with the backups on the floor, and then even if you then get an injury, having the next guy at least be competent, because that was not the case last year. And I was talking about this because I think was this last week. I don't know, when I rewatched some of the 2022 team that went to the Elite Eight, and like there was actual depth on that team because the guys coming off the bench were like Bensley and Wooga. Yeah, but they'd grown into that role. It wasn't where you could not put them on the court except for Wooga against Kansas.
It's funny. It's funny to think about that. And I remember at that time, I'm like, oh my God, we have no depth. Like we're having to bring true freshmen off the bench, blah, blah, blah. And then you think about it now after this past season, and you're like, oh my God, we had a wealth of depth just because of how bad it was.
There were guys who were like, okay, we can play with that guy on the court.
Like, but that season, I thought we had no depth. Like I was like, oh my God, we're having to rely on true freshmen. We have no depth. But then you look back on it now and you're like, holy shit, like that was actually depth considering what happened.
Yeah, and I think, and we'll talk about this too. I think the other thing though is, we need to be clear about this. Our high school recruiting has been a big whiff. Like Wooga and Bensley, that's a really good class, and we got a lot of mileage out of that. But the 2 after that, like no, we missed. Like we missed on all those basically the entire class. Other than
this year's class that's coming
in. Right, and that's going to help a lot. But
shout out to Jalil Bethea winning the All-American dunk contest.
Yes, and
if we're talking about that too, like because I saw this on Twitter, like he's a high school kid. I understand he doesn't have the body of some of these guys, other guys playing in the game. He's going to get there. Like he's going to have the whole off season to gain muscle, which I do think he needs to do. It's something he talked about when we did our interview, that was one of the things that he needs to improve on that. And I think he said on the defensive side of the floor as well, which, it's going to come along. He's still a really talented player. And, McDonald's All-American game isn't just about the game too, and all the practices, he was really killing it. So, I'm excited for him to come on campus. One game doesn't change anything for me.
Right.
It shouldn't for anyone else.
Also, and to the idiots that are saying in the dunk contest that he used his hand on the guy's shoulder, like, tell me you can jump that high to even use your hand on some 7-footer shoulder. Like,
over 2 7-footers.
Exactly. Okay. Why are you trying to break down an 18-year-old's dunk? Let me see you try to do that.
So we're really arguing with people that are obsessing over a high school dunk contest and zaprudering the film.
I'm
This is
just
what this
saying,
shows. That's
don't
what
mess with our guy.
I will say though. Yeah, obviously, like our recruiting class this year is leaps and bounds over what we've been bringing in.
Mhm.
And Jalil's obviously he's going to start day
You got
one.
two top 40 guys with a top 5 guy.
Right, but to Nate's point, like you should at least be able to get solid backups out of your freshmen. And we weren't really. I mean, they had to play anyway because we were that bad. I mean, and Keyshawn is just like I don't even know how to categorize him because he wasn't a high school recruit. He was some dude we just
Yeah.
found that grew after we found him. So it was more luck than anything. Other than that, like we got like Chris Watson, AJ Casey just didn't work out. You know, those are guys, especially in year 2, should have been at least been able to contribute. They weren't really even in the rotation. Nwoko wasn't ready to play yet. Joe Bay wasn't ready to play yet. Like we really have not done a good job on the high school level, and that's where you kind of get some of your depth. Like a lot of these, like you'll see freshmen, even if they hit the portal because maybe they wanted to start and they didn't, still contributing and then hitting the portal. Like we have had a lot of kind of didn't contribute at all, then hit the portal. Some of them are back in the portal again. There's been as Nate said, bad evals plus guys not staying. So hopefully, obviously Jalil's not staying because he's going to go get picked in the top 5 of the NBA draft. But
Yeah.
hopefully, but that's a big thing, right? So you start looking at our roster and what we have right now compared to last year, knowing that your freshmen are actually going to be able to play. One of them is going to start is a huge boost to building that depth. When Terrence is talking about nine-man rotation, like you need your freshmen to be good enough to play to do that, and we haven't had that in a while. So it's going to be a very, very welcome change this year.
But the two transfers we have right now, I'm very excited, and I'm really excited to know that we have Nigel back. Like you kind of start to see the makeup of the team coming together. I will say Matthew Cleveland put on his Instagram stories the Brandon Johnson commit, so it's making me feel like he's staying because he's posted both, and he posted about Nigel staying. So I'm feeling like he may be staying. So we'll see.
We'll get into that in a second.
We
But
will.
let's talk. Unless you have anything else to add.
I'm just excited to see
Yeah,
progress.
the team's coming together.
Yeah.
I guess unless you have anything else or you want to stress on Lynn Kidd, we can talk Brandon.
No,
Johnson.
we should talk about Brandon Johnson.
Go read Matt's tweet.
Thread.
It's on the Buckets account. It's retweeted by
all.
It was tweeted by him, retweeted by all of us. So it's a really good breakdown.
So let's Matt, you ready to talk some Brandon Johnson?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously I haven't watched a ton of film. I watched like half a game and highlights and whatnot, so that's not as much. But impressed by the range. I mean, he shoots from legit like NBA range, and you have to cover him that far out. He can do it in the post. Pretty skilled offensively. I think that he's kind of an underrated defender too. He's only 6'8", but he's kind of lengthy. I'm not sure how much he weighs, but he looks like he weighs more. Because I remember someone saying, "Oh, he's not that big" or something. But like watching him on film, he looks bigger. I don't know if it's like broad shoulders or whatnot. But I actually, I'm gonna have to watch more film on this, so it's like TBD. But I was kind of impressed with his post defense as well. So I think that that's something that definitely, we talked about Lynn Kidd. That's something, maybe not the best at. So, can Brandon Johnson step in and, fill that role as a post defender if needed? And I think too, like, it's just the position versatility because I do think he can play the 5. So if Lynn Kidd's out, put him at the 5. You can go small again if you want to just switch things up. And I think that's something that we have been missing in terms of, past few years is that position versatility. But yeah, no, I think he's a good add. I think he's going to complement the guys we have on roster. And also, our new addition.
Do you think he can also play the 3 as well?
To be honest with you, That's a little like TBD because from the parts I watched where there's only a handful of times he was switched onto a guard. He did have a little bit of trouble keeping up, but his like wingspan does really help him in terms of like altering shots, even if someone does kind of beat him. But I'd have to watch more film to be honest with you.
I mean, I think he shot like what 37% from three last season. I believe
36.
36.5, something like that. If he can bring that up just a smidge next season, there's your stretch four.
Yeah, well, I think he already is because I mean,
I would like him to bring the percent, and I think he can because he's gonna get some good looks because we have some other shooters that will. I mean, you have Nigel, and then we'll see who else stays. But
well, yeah, and the other thing too is like on his team, he was kind of like the main shooter and not really anyone else. So he was like the one guy you had to cover. So I mean, playing on a team with Nigel Pack,
you might get better looks.
He's gonna get a lot more. I think he is, gonna get a lot more better looks. And shooting is something that just translates, wherever you're playing. And I mean, the other thing too is over 50% of his shots were from three. Like, so that's what he does, right? So,
but he also averaged almost 9 rebounds a game. So that's good.
And Lynn Kidd has enough game to potentially force teams to double him too. So there's gonna be.
Yeah, he has enough to force teams to double, and he's really good at passing too for his size.
So
that's one thing that's stuck out. There's guys that can make good passes, and there's guys that make good passes to get their teammates open, and I think he can do that as a big man.
Our team, John Ross' team, might not be able to say more guards than Shawshank next year.
Yeah, screw him anyway.
You might have to. Oh, right, but it might have to change it.
By the way, Sky Clark is UCLA.
Oh, Brendo's gonna be happy.
Just happened. Not that we were interested, but former Louisville player. All right, so we're thinking Brand Johnson's more of a 4/5. More definitely a 4 is its position. Could play the 5.
Yeah, no, I think so. Would love to see a team play a 3-2 zone against him too. That'd be interesting. Yeah, no, I'm
interested in the 3-2 zone at any time. The 3-2 zone is my favorite defense.
Are we going to play Stonehill again next year?
Right, there's no schedule's not out yet. Schedule not out yet.
But the other thing too,
next year's schedule is going to be bonkers with Cal, Stanford, and SMU being conference games. So keep that in mind.
The other thing that stuck out too is like he's really good in the pick and pop like scenarios. Understanding where the defense is and kind of moving to where they're not. I think he's gonna be really good with Nigel, like as a 1-2, and Jaleel too.
Do you think we're gonna go back to more of what we were doing, prior to the small ball switch over and running a lot of pick and roll? Because we haven't really been doing that.
Yeah, I think we are gonna see a lot more pick and roll.
Lynn Kidd's very athletic for a big too, so
yeah. Well, both guys that we picked up are like
and Brandon Johnson too. Like and when you've got shooters like Nigel and you've got a shooter and a slasher like Jaleel, we'll see who else stays. I think Austin Swartz isn't being talked about enough. I think it's gonna look very different next year, which is exciting, but also kind of scary because there's a lot of new faces that's gonna happen. So you got to hope that the team gels well.
Yeah.
Oh, we have the ACC SEC Challenge at home this season. Vish, you got to come down for that.
Who are we playing and when?
We'll find out. But
those things matter. Those things matter. I gotta know when and where.
It'd be cool if they came to do a little rivalry game.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it's a home game because it doesn't necessarily have to.
No, we played away last year. It should be home this year. Doesn't it switch back and forth?
No, it does not.
That's not fair.
This is not accurate. It does not necessarily switch, especially when there's all these new teams in the group. In fact, I guess how many SEC teams are there going to be next year? Are we going to even play in it? But no, there's going to be
the newcomers get left out to start.
There's 18 ACC teams, I believe, and I guess there's also 18 SEC teams after they had Oklahoma and Texas.
I don't know.
It doesn't necessarily switch when all the conferences added new teams that's only been around for 1 year. So, yes, exactly. The ACC, SEC has been here for 1 year exactly, and there's a bunch of new teams now. So, I guarantee you there will be teams that played on the road this year that are playing on the road again. There's
Probably us because
there's no mathematical way to not do that. So. Anyway, we want to talk about some of the existing. We've done this segment before, but things have more news has changed things.
So I mentioned it earlier that I'm kind of thinking Matthew Cleveland's staying because he keeps reposting like all of the Kane stuff. I mean,
all right. Do you think he's going to be okay though, like coming off the bench for Michael Brown-Jones, or? Because I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't know.
At this time, I think Matthew Cleveland is staying. This could change if we get more people and Matthew Cleveland realizes that maybe he's not going to start. But like right now, it seems to me like he's staying just because of his social media. But I could be wrong. Obviously, it's just a guess.
So there is not a universe where Matthew Cleveland stays and he's not starting this year.
Yeah, exactly.
The caliber of player you'd have to get to supplant him is not going to come here.
I don't think Mikel Brown-Jones is coming here.
He's also not the caliber of player that's going to take Matthew Cleveland's starting job. Just being real about it. Matt's weird Mustafa Amzil obsession aside.
Dude, Michael Brown-Jones is way better than Mustafa. Are you kidding me?
Wow, look at him taking shots at Melissa's guy there.
I like a stretch four.
Mustafa looks like he dribbles with a medicine ball. Like that was a tough watch.
Matthew Cleveland is a far superior player to Mikel Brown-Jones, who I don't even think we're actually interested in.
Who is this fan of yours in the chat?
Oh, it's Gabe from Gabe has been a frequent guest on our F1 show. What you don't realize is this man in the chat is a Mercedes F1 engineer, 6 or 7. We were there for all 7-time world champion in F1 designing cars.
Oh wow.
So he is a badass. He's now back in Miami. So anyway, shout out to you, Gabe. I have not really seen us attacking a Matthew Cleveland replacement because I think the plan is to move him back to his actual position, which is small forward, which he did not play last year. And it's damn near impossible to say we're going to upgrade and force him to the bench at that position.
I would like to
7. There he goes. 7. All 7.
I would like to see him play his actual position because he just did not look comfortable the entire year.
Yeah, no, he's not a power forward, but
no.
You know, that was in fact we were like Bensley will come off the bench, Wogo will be the 2, Cleveland will be the 3, AJ Casey will be the 4. We're fine.
No.
Did not work out. But if you recall, we were trying last offseason to figure out how to move Matthew Cleveland back to the 3. And we couldn't, and neither could Coach L.
It's like we subliminally knew it wasn't going to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a couple of things, and also trying to get the short backcourt out of there, but there were no options, and we ended up having to run with both of those things. All right, so do we all think Cleveland is staying?
As of right now, yeah. Chat, I hear something about every single day.
Well, let's move on to the next. We'll get to Norchad. Let's go. Yeah. Since Nate brought up Woga, what are our thoughts on Woga?
I think he's gone.
I think he's leaving.
I think he's gone too, and I will say again. So the players that entered the portal are still in the portal, and that's because those are not the hot commodities. They got to get in there early. They got to almost recruit themselves onto teams because no one's lining up for them, with the exception being Bensley is going to land at a real team and start as point guard. Like, other than him, though, like, there's not a liner on the block of people trying to get like Nwoko or AJ Casey or Chris Watson. So they got to get in there early.
Well, I think Nwoko can get
Yeah,
he'll land somewhere,
I think the
but there's
potential of his size is going to
Watson-
get him shooters.
Well,
Watson
here-
and Casey are going to end up like at a mid-major.
I'm not even talking about where they're going to end up. They have to visit a bunch of schools, get their name out there. They're not an automatic take.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Wooga or Norchad, we're going to talk about in a minute, they'll line up their shit before they enter the portal. They'll have their money in hand. They'll have the contract ready to go. They'll hit the portal, just like what Lynn Kidd did to here. Like, it's when you're on that, that's a different level of player, where when they go into the portal, it's because they already know where they're going. And so, like, yeah, Wooga's still here because those big money moves take time, and potentially going to schools that are still playing. You know, and you got to work all that out, check the market out, get your agent to work on the financial side of things, and then you enter the portal and pretty much immediately jump over. So I agree. I think Wooga's gonna leave and probably cash a nice little check somewhere at a power conference school. I think that thing kind of fell apart here in the end. As Matt and I were sitting there in DC saying, like, why is Wooga not in? When he was actually playing hard, he shot like crap in that game, and it wasn't the first time where he had like a ridiculously bad shooting line. But he was playing really hard, and for some reason, Nwoko kept getting in, and we were like, why is Nwoko in right now with Norchad, and why isn't Wooga playing? And it just felt like, I mean, if I was Wooga, I'd be asking the same question at this point. So I think that one kind of probably, that relationship probably frayed a little bit. I'd be very surprised if Wooga, I guess we can do a ranking of least likely to most likely after we get through these, but he's definitely one of my least likely to come back. Which brings us to Keyshawn.
Gone.
Well, I mean, should we talk about what happened? Or, I mean, he basically announced that he's going to try for the draft, right? Is that what because it was a
French interview, so it was a very correlated, like, Instagram translated interview.
Well, the one thing I'll say is there's no way he's not going to declare for the draft and at least go through the process. So that's definitely happening. It's going to be a long road with Keyshawn. He's going to get evaluations. My expectation, he's going to get a first round eval and go.
Yeah.
Can I just say, can we put Nate's comment up there? How ironic would that be? Couldn't even play against UConn, and then he plays.
He got the royal benching in that game.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll point out for Keyshawn. Keyshawn has a lot of potential because of how tall he is, but he's a guard. But the NBA draft class this year is very weak.
Yeah, well, in NBA, people in the NBA, they only care about the potential, right?
Yeah.
So
he's a 6'8" guard. Like, I mean,
yeah, he's a 6'8" guard that can shoot and handle. So he's gonna. No, if he hadn't, I mean, his performances dropped. Like, he was playing at a higher level at the beginning of the year. Then
they started mocking drafts and putting him in the first round.
Well, I think that might be a correlation without causation. I think as other players started getting injured and we asked more of him, that's when he frankly couldn't necessarily handle it. Once Wooga was playing on one leg, Nigel was playing on like half of a leg. All of a sudden, it's like, hey, let's try to run more stuff through Keyshawn versus like him being secondary offense. And I think he struggled a little bit on that, and I think that's also why his draft stock came down a little bit from where it was like top 10, top 15. Now it's kind of more towards mid to back end of the first round, is because he didn't really rise to that. But as Matt said, they draft on potential. He'll definitely get drafted. The question is, I think he's going to want to be pretty comfortable that he's going to go in the first round, which I guarantee you can get some GM or something to some of them will say, yeah, if you're there, we'll pick you, and that's what's going to push him over.
Yeah, can we go back to Wooga for a second too?
Yeah,
that just reminded me of a point. I mean, we wouldn't be surprised if he, announces for the draft as well too, right? Because I've seen him in mocks towards the end of the first round.
Yeah, I mean, if he's just done with school, yeah. If he's done with school.
I think we should just mention that as well. Like, that could very well be an option, and maybe enters the portal, while while also announcing for the draft or whatever.
Yeah, he could make a roster. So
yeah,
Yeah, no, that's definitely a possibility.
Speaking of the NBA, Zay Wong got his first NBA points.
I mean, that
Congrats.
just congrats to him, and that just shows you the level, like how big a step up it is for the NBA from here. It took him. I mean, it's not because he can't score; it's because it took him that long to really get on the court.
Yeah.
A nice little Zay like mid-range jumper.
No, he's got the game. It's just like it's
I
the
miss
NBA.
him.
The NBA is so freaking competitive.
Yeah.
It's probably the largest leap between college and pros is that jump, and that's why you see a lot of great college players like not even be able to get on the court or not even make teams, which is where Wooga might.
Yeah,
I guess the question, but the one thing
you see Oscar Shibwe in the G League putting up 20 in 20 games, and it's like he's not even he's played very limited. Someone that's on the same G League team as Zay.
Yeah, no, it's a huge leap in quality, and someone like Wooga though. One of the things I think people tend to say, well, if you're not going to get drafted high, you might as well come back. Like a lot of these guys don't have the ability to improve their draft stock. They are what they are. There's not going to like someone like Nigel, for example, like he's coming back because I think he loves the school and he wants to. I don't think he wanted to leave like that, which is why he was playing on one leg and bodying bigger players in the ACC tournament while everyone stood there and watched him. But he's not gonna like improve his draft stock. He's what he is. He's short. He can shoot. Like that's his game, and it's not gonna. And I think what a lot of people tend to do is they say, "Well, why would you go early when you're gonna get drafted in you're gonna get drafted in the second round anyway the next year?" There's this presumption that like, oh, if you stay in college, it's somehow gonna make your no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how often do you see like an upperclassman get drafted in the lottery? It happens very sparingly now.
Yeah.
It's a lot of freshmen or international guys that are, 18 or 19 that have been playing professionally for a while now.
Yeah, and so I think it is really so for someone like Wooga, like if he's just kind of done with college, it's not going to get any better next year, especially as Melissa said, the class this year is weaker.
Yeah,
next year it's if you might. It's gonna
they're already saying that this is the worst draft class like in the history of NBA draft, which is insane.
Well, we'll see how that plays out. There have been some awful ones, but
we're all kind of are we all kind of in agreement right now? Right now, we think Cleveland stays, we think Wooga goes, and we think Keyshawn goes.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. But I will say again, Keyshawn's is going to drag.
Yeah,
he's gonna go through the draft workouts and all this stuff, and then decide based on that. But I think in the end, someone will promise to pick him and probably will in the first round.
You think if Keyshawn decided to stay, Cleveland would transfer?
I'm not sure Keyshawn starts. Coach O likes him off the bench. He benched him again at the end of he wasn't starting at the end of the year.
True. Who knows? Interesting. All right. Last but not least.
Is that last? Oh, we only have that many players that can pour out because
go ahead,
Nigel back. Yeah, go for it. Wait, we forgot Joe Bay. We had someone enter the portal today.
Okay,
we had Nick Cassano has entered. It's a humongous loss, guys. Nick Cassano has entered the portal. Humongous loss.
Bigger loss than AJKC. All right,
but shout out to Cassano's parents too, because they were really good people. They reached out to us and stuff. So shout out to them.
Okay.
No, I mean, hopefully he gets a scholarship somewhere. Actually,
yeah, he's a walk-on here, so maybe he can get a scholarship somewhere. I mean, Miami's expensive, bro.
I mean, I'm sure he's got some money coming in. Norchad, Melissa, you want to go first?
I think he's leaving. It breaks my heart, but I think he's leaving. Matt?
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
I'm leaning to I think he's leaving, but I do think there's still a chance he comes back. I'm like
I hear something different every single day. It's driving me nuts. I posted something in our chat today about
I think it's because I think he genuinely doesn't know.
Yeah.
And I think he's going back and forth about it. And I mean, people forget these guys are still kids, young, you know what I mean? Like
he's what, 22 probably?
Yeah, he's 22, 20, I don't know. But
it doesn't matter if you're 22 or 42 though. It's a life decision.
Yeah.
and he's in a situation where he's got multiple options. I don't think the draft is one of them. I don't think he's getting drafted. Yeah, and he's got an agent who's looking out and saying this is what the market looks like. I'm assuming it's more money out there than at Miami. Because frankly, and Nate pointed this out earlier, we made the mistake last year of waiting and then ended up with a very shallow roster. And this year, I think we're just like, if he comes back, great. If not,
we're not waiting.
Oh yeah. Oh well. And I think,
and we've already added 2 guys that are taller than anybody else on our roster was last year.
Right. And we spent a lot of time, energy, and money last year basically recruiting our own team back, minus the 2 best players off of it. and we saw the result of that. So I think this year it was, look, we need a lot of talent. Let's go get it. And I'm assuming, look, obviously there'll be a financial package from Miami as well, but I'm assuming other schools, are probably offering more at this point. And it's just a matter of, I think he likes being in Miami. That was his one-liner from the last press conference was, it's great to be
Miami Hurricane.
Hurricane.
I do think Nigel coming back will help, because I know those 2 they're roommates and they're really good friends.
I think it's wild that they're roommates when they make so much fucking money. You don't need a roommate.
But I think that helps. But like I said, every single day I hear something different. Like one day it's like, oh, I heard Norchad's leaving. The next day, like, oh, I heard he's staying. Like literally the day before Nigel announced he was coming back, someone told me that he was leaving.
Yeah.
So I mean, nobody knows. You can believe whatever you want, but nobody knows.
Well, yeah, and that's because everyone has to know, so they make shit up. So what ends up happening is you make shit up. If it turns out not to be true, oh, kids, they changed their mind. If it ends up being true, like, look, I'm an insider now. It's all crap. We'll know when we know. Like you said, there was no warning that Nigel was all of a sudden coming back. Was going to announce it, right? He just
That's why you only listen to Trilly Donovan.
No, that's why you only listen to the official account when it freaking tweets it out, because that means everything is signed. Because otherwise,
Trilly's been on point though.
I'm not suggesting there aren't people that have information. What I'm saying is, until that thing comes out of the athletic department, that crap is not locked down. Because that's when they've signed the paperwork. Because the school can't talk about them otherwise. And until then, stuff can still happen. And I mean, we literally got announced as the host site for a tournament that we did not agree to participate in. Like, information comes out so fast now, and it spins around, and that, like, until something's official, like, I mean, I brought this up. Our starting quarterback for our football team this year made a whole video announcing he was going to the pro
draft.
He's entering the draft. I'm entering the draft. I'm not. And then, like, 2 weeks later, he's like, I'm coming to Miami. It's just like that is the world we live in. When this stuff would always happen behind the scenes.
That happened right before a hoops game.
Yeah. We're like, who the hell's going to play quarterback next year? No, but like that is what the difference is. Now we have so much access to information. It's not necessarily even wrong. Like Cam Ward saying, hey, I'm going to the NFL is him saying he's going to the NFL. It's not wrong information, but these things change.
It's fluid.
Yeah. And so, but the difference between now and before is we never had this information come out. So all the same crap would happen behind the scenes. We just wouldn't get exposed to it. You'd only see the result. So I would just take a deep breath. We'll know when we know. I do think Norchad will probably leave. And I'm basing that kind of on who we recruit. It is possible for us to say, yeah, Brandon Johnson, you're going to, be the 6th man of the year in the ACC and play a lot of minutes behind Lynn Kidd and Norchad. Because especially as Matt mentioned, Lynn Kidd was not he's not a big minutes guy. So maybe they can sell him on that opportunity there, or say even if Norchad comes back, you're going to get significant playing time because he's in foul trouble. Lynn Kidd does not log. It's 35 minutes a game type of thing. It's going to be a lot of minutes in the front court for him to eat. Maybe that's the sales pitch. So, but looking at it, it looks like we found our starting center and our starting power forward, and it's kind of. That appears to be what we've done in the portal.
As of right now, we have a starting point guard, a starting 2, a starting 4, and a starting 5 confirmed.
Yes, and we have 3 players that have not said anything that would all potentially would all be very good starting small forwards. So we just need one. We need one of them back.
We'll go Cleveland and Keyshawn.
Would all, if you had any of those three guys starting at small forward, your starting five.
Who of the three would you like to keep if you could only keep one?
Keyshawn.
Matt?
Probably Keyshawn, yeah.
Same.
I would say I'm between Keyshawn and Cleveland.
Agreed.
Because I think Cleveland in the right position. I think he got a lot of crap for playing out of position last year, and I think he does all. I picked Keyshawn because I think he's got the most upside. And I think a year off season, I think he could be insanely good next year and like hit a ceiling that Cleveland can't reach. I mean, Cleveland again. We kind of talked about this with Lynn Kidd. He is who he is at this point. I don't really expect him to develop a whole new part to his game.
Cleveland takes a lot of shit, but I actually do want him to come back.
Oh no, I definitely want him to come back.
I would like to see him at his actual position because I think he's a lot better than what we saw last year.
Yeah, no, I want him to be the starting small forward on this team. Like, I think that would be great for us.
I agree.
I agree too. All jokes aside from the MBJ talk, Matthew Cleveland is a really good player, and
so assume one of those three guys come back and we have our third, and then so you have your starting five. Well, who knows what Norchad's going to do? But what else? Who else? What position would you like to see us get in the portal? Like I still would like to
guard
get
off the bench,
experienced guard. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we
think you get.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, Vish.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Well, I was going to say a guard off the bench for two reasons. I feel like you want to have that experience, right? Just in terms of like, we can't play these five guys at one time. We need to have that depth. Bensley played big minutes for us, even though he didn't start a lot of games. I think you need to kind of fill that role, not like exactly what Bensley did, but that kind of player. And then also too, like, I mean, Jaleel is a phenomenal freshman, but I think like having another experienced guard just in case, kind of thing is something that would be beneficial as well.
Because now your bench is a couple of freshmen and Paul Jobé.
Yeah, you need some veteran.
So
depth.
Your bench is a couple of freshmen. And again, if we're being serious about competing for top of the ACC, which is going to be an even deeper conference now with the additions. You're talking about that. I know Stanford had a down year, but they're generally strong and flying across country. We're going to pick up some L's, I'm sure. You've got to upgrade the entire rotation. And look, Jobé is just like if we're asking him to log significant minutes, then we haven't really done that. In terms of think about right now if Nigel gets in the foul trouble.
He's talking
about Johnson Arrigo. He said it multiple times in the chat. We'll address this in a second because we're going to talk about the freshman.
I got confused
in a minute.
for a second.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the freshman in a minute. We're not talking about Brandon Johnson. No, it's Johnson Arrigo. To both of your points, right now, if Nigel got into foul trouble, we don't have anyone to even bring the ball up the court. So we need point guard. We need a point guard. We need a ball handling guard that is willing to come off the bench. I don't know who that is. But
when you see based on the guys they've been targeting, you see that, right? Like that's the kind of skill set they've been looking for. And a lot of them, are guys from mid majors and whatnot that they can sell them on, hey, you're going to play this many minutes. Like you might be coming off the bench, but it's going to be a consistent role.
And then you're going to lose your backcourt after next year. So you get a guy that's a sophomore or junior next year and you'll be like, all right, come off the bench this next season. And then you'll probably start the year after.
Yeah, no, there's going to be like, this is
you can sell it to some younger guys because you're losing like your entire starting lineup after next season.
Yeah, no, not to go too far ahead of us, but after the 25 season, Kidd is gone, Brandon Johnson's gone, Nigel's gone, Jaleel's going pro.
Cleveland,
whoever of Cleveland, Wooga, Keyshawn, they're definitely going to be gone. So, So yeah, you're basically the whole starting five is gone. And if Norchak comes back, the whole starting five is still gone.
Yeah.
So so you can certainly, especially as Matt said, mid majors, target people and say, hey, there's a backup role for you this year, and the roster's wide open after that for you to really be starting in 26 on an ACC.
That's what I'm saying. You take like a sophomore from a mid major who's got 2 more years of eligibility left and sell him on play big minutes off the bench and then start as a senior. I think that's the way to go.
We're not lying to the kids by telling them that we don't have any of our starters coming back, which is a true statement. Second, there aren't 5 boozers, there are 2.
Exactly.
So
I like your confidence though, Canes Catsy. I do like your confidence.
I don't like your math skills though.
Are we gonna
your confidence? Well, let's talk about the freshmen though, outside Jaleel, who I think we know is going to start. So what do we see? Part of this depends on what happens in the portal and who else comes in. But what do we see from what do you see the roles being for Austin Schwartz and John Thurigo here?
I think Austin Schwartz could be a role player for us next season as a freshman off the bench. He doesn't get talked about enough because of Jaleel being such a highly ranked recruit, but he's also a top 40 player. Matt.
Yeah, no, and he's another guy too that he excels at, making difficult shots, which, fits right into our offense and whatnot. Really good offensive player. He had a really good senior season as well. But I'm definitely looking forward to him. I think he is, going to be in the rotation. I don't know how consistent it'll be. We have to see how the roster kind of
he's going to get
out because for sure.
So I'll just say this. There's no way he's redshirting. No one redshirts now. He's not. No one stays for 4 years, except for Baycott still stayed for 7. But most no one's worried about redshirting anyone unless there's an injury that they can't play.
Are we going to talk about the Cleveland comment or
any more eligibility left?
What the effort one? We're going to go back to that one. Is that way?
Well, I just noticed it.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, no, I just don't really agree with it. I think he was put in a situation. What?
Well, go ahead and finish.
Oh, I was just going to say I don't agree with it at all. I think he was put in a, unfair situation, and we tried to turn him into a player that he wasn't. But yeah, I don't really necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, and I talked about this a little bit earlier when we talked about how Lynn Kidd actually knows how to box out correctly. I think a lot of what happened last year was incompetence looking like lack of effort, whether incompetence because they're out of position or incompetence because they're low basketball IQ, frankly, for some of these guys. Like some of the stuff we were doing wasn't.
Well, it wasn't just limited to him, too, right?
Oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Wooga. It was, every single one person had moments.
The turnovers were insane, right? And that's so when it's a turnover, it's obvious to identify, okay, you tried to throw the ball through traffic, through 3 guys, and it got stolen. It's obviously, a dumb play. But when the off-ball player goes to the wrong spot on the floor and isn't in position for a rebound, it can be attributed to effort. And it's no, it's the same thing. He wasn't in the right position on the court because he got lost out there. Therefore, he wasn't able to get the rebound. His guy got the rebound. It wasn't because he didn't try to box him out. It's because he's just out of position. And I think, it's much easier to identify those on offense when you're handling the ball and it's obvious when you make a mental error. Much less obvious on defense, you don't rotate correctly because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, and all of a sudden they get a layup, and a lot of that can be attributed to effort. And it's often I felt like last year our team was basically lost for most of the year. No, Keyshawn did not declare.
We're assuming it's coming.
Yep, we're expecting it.
No news on the women's front.
Well, yeah, no news on the women's front, but I do have a question for you. So obviously the portal's open. We talked about how we lost. Did we talk? Was that before? That was before our last show. I know you hopped in from work for like 2 seconds on the impromptu show Matt and I did Thursday, but I think we talked. Wow. I'd like to say for the record, I did not do this. I had nothing to do with this. He was flagging before that. I saw him kept freezing. Well, he heard us talking about the women, and well, let's give us an opportunity. So, do you think so? We obviously had a pretty stacked roster last year where we were kind of 9-10 deep. Lamaya's coming back off of a knee injury. We've lost Ali, Julia, and Kyla. We do have a really good freshman class coming in. Do you think not?
Coachless.
I'm gonna put this backstage. Actually, he's come back in separately. So,
there you go.
Do you think not having a coach is? Well, Saint just saw it on Insta. Anyone want to verify this? In terms of Keyshawn declaring,
I can't. Oh my god.
Wait, what happened? You're frozen again.
Yeah, I can confirm it. He's
all right. All right. Well.
Plans on entering the
I guess our man John here broke news, and Matt his internet has quit on him. All right. Well, I mean, we kind of expected it.
It's the first thing that popped up on my thing.
Okay. Not surprising. And does it say if he's signed with an agent or whatever? And I mean, that's okay. Plans on.
No, it's just another Canes page that I follow. So.
Well, I don't think that's really. News necessarily on the extent that, I mean, we're just saying he's going to. There's no way he's not going to declare. The question is whether or not he comes back after he does.
Yeah.
So if we hear he's signed with an agent and he's not coming back, that's the news part. So the devil's in the details there. Remember, Nigel was in the draft 2 years ago. He's still going to play next year. so it's about them actually. And some of them do. They declare for the draft, and they're like, "Hey, I'm signing with an agent. I'm going." And some of them go through process first. I don't. It looks like no one has. Keyshawn himself has not confirmed this.
I'm looking on his Instagram. No, he doesn't have anything posted.
Is this? Do you think this is just a follow-on from that French translated thing that we were talking about earlier? Because you showed says plans to enter the draft, which doesn't actually say has said or declared or anything.
I mean, we all knew what was going to happen. It's like what you said is did he hire an agent?
Right, but I guess what you showed when you held up your phone to the screen was plans to enter the draft. It sounds an awful lot like the translated version of the French thing we saw.
Yeah, but that was from like 2 days ago.
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, they might have just caught wind of it though.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I would expect him to announce it, or tipped in edits or something to say like Keyshawn George is declaring, not a Hurricanes fan site necessarily. But anyway, he's going to at some point, even if it's just to test the draft waters. Back to what we're talking about with the women. Matt's got some active birds back there. Yeah. Well, we'll see. He's going to, because he would be an idiot.
This is all a formality. We all know he's going to do it. The question is, does he hire an agent to make it like there's no going back?
Yeah.
Or not? So.
Well, so back to the question I was asking you, Melissa, before we went off on that basketball-related tangent. Do you think it's hurting us right now not to have a coach for women? Because would we be active in the portal right now?
Who knows? We might be. Anyway,
I mean, well, what do you think we need to address? Because we still have two bigs.
It certainly doesn't help right now to not have a coach and be active in the portal. We've talked about it before. We assumed at least one of our bigs was going because it
not enough minutes.
Timing. And we had a lot of guards, so we were assuming people were going to leave, and especially with the class that we have coming in. The roster we have right now, even with the 3 transfer, and I still think we have a really good roster, especially with the talented freshmen we have coming in. So I'm not concerned. There have been some people that have entered the portal where I'm like, ooh, but now I'm not concerned. If we lose more players to the portal, then I'm going to start getting concerned that if we don't have a coach yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking, like you said, we expected a big to enter. we also have a huge logjam at point guard, especially when Cheyenne started just running point, and both Julia and Lachey were coming off the bench. Like that's a lot of point guard. So not and Allie, fell completely out of the rotation. So again, not necessarily surprising that they entered. Yeah, it didn't really open up a big hole roster wise. It's more of just like, we like these players.
Because unlike the men's team, we actually had a lot of depth.
Yeah.
So, and we've got some really good players coming in next year, including Leah Harmon, who was on our show.
Yeah, no, and so yeah, so there's players that are going to need minutes.
Yeah.
So,
my girl Z is still on the team, so I'm happy.
Yeah, Z and Tosh, they just did a feature on Tosh, so I think Tosh is probably pretty rock solid there.
Which is good because I think Tosh got better throughout the season. Like towards the end of the year, I think.
This is it'll be fascinating to see how the new coach, like the systems they run and stuff. We've been doing
because the two bigs at state are very athletic.
Yeah, but also like that's something Coach Meyer likes to play two bigs and
yeah.
Don't know if there's going to be two bigs playing anymore. We'll see.
Yeah, I know, but like, I mean, if you only do a one big system, they're still both going to get a lot of minutes, especially because Z loves to get in foul trouble.
Well, I don't know if she loves it. It happens, but
well, you know what I mean. She's like Norchad, man. The foul, it's like stupid fouls too. So
yeah, I don't expect anyone else to really enter the portal unless the new coach comes in and is kind of like get out.
I will say though, I'm gonna miss Jada so much next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was gone anyway.
I know she was gone anyway because it's her last year eligibility, but I'm gonna miss her. Steady Jada.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty obvious Jazz is coming back because she broke up publicly with Julia on the socials.
Yeah, sad. They're besties.
I know. I hung out with them. Technically, was supposed to be interviewing them, but more hung out with them and Coach.
Yeah.
At 8 freaking a.m. They put us.
You're just sad because Julia is a Popeyes.
We can still get her on the show if we need to, man. There's no principles in this game. We're getting crushed over here.
The next Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna have to. I mean, I guess I could if they have a little name could fit right here, but I'm gonna have to put like.
It's okay. You can just put the first couple letters and just put gobbledygook after it. It's fine, right?
Like your last name.
That's an inside joke for Buckets. Buckets fans.
I can't pronounce Vish's last name.
You can't pronounce the first syllable.
They're putting this in the chat.
It's parse. The first syllable is parse.
Smurf.
It's actually not. It's actually not purse. I cannot believe you actually.
Par. P-A-R.
It's P-A-R-A. So like
Parasuraman. I don't know how.
See there, you got it. Close enough.
Is it right?
not all the way. It was pretty damn close.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Doesn't it end in like? Doesn't it end in like ramen?
Yes.
Yeah. See.
So it's not bad. So you're almost there. That's the part you screwed up.
There we go. Well, me and Matt have very simple last names. So
is this the same account you were looking at, Melissa?
I would probably refresh by now, so I don't know. No, Cane Smoke.
I wouldn't be surprised if that is just amplifying that.
I wouldn't read into that too much.
Well, I mean, we know he's doing it anyway. So if it becomes official now, then it becomes official.
Matt's birds are like hilarious.
Man, I should have done that parlay bet on the Lakers.
Good thing you got the window open so they don't.
Ron and Anthony Davis had good games.
We are nearing the 1 year anniversary of the bird incident. The bird incident.
No, we're nearing the 1 year anniversary of the show because this time last year.
I don't even know when the show started.
No, this time last year, the Final Four had ended.
I know, but when did we do it? The show only really started when all three of us came on together. And I don't remember when that was.
Shouldn't it start when Coach named it?
I feel like the show was not the show until all three of us were on it together.
I know, but Matt and I were on it separately. But Coach, I feel like the anniversary should be when Coach named it. That's when Buckets became Buckets.
So it's when I wasn't there.
See, this is what I'm saying. There's no show.
I know, but how do you...
At least okay, Melissa.
This is how dictatorships fall, man. Be careful.
But no, I'm just saying, like,
kick me out, Vish. Bring Coach in here.
But I'm just saying, like, that's when the show was named. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, obviously the first time the three of us on.
To me, that is the inaugural, like, real Buckets. It's when the three
Thank
of
you,
us run.
Vish.
So it's like the fake show and then the real show. So when was
I
the
mean,
first time all three of us? What was the date?
I have absolutely no idea, but I'm
I'm
sure
gonna
we'll
have
be
to
able to find it.
scroll through the archives of 5 Reasons Sports to find it.
Yeah, exactly. Disrespect. I mean, Matt and I were doing shows like during the tournament. Do those count?
I wasn't even a part of the network yet.
I know. Neither was Matt. He was doing charity work. He was volunteered. Raised his hand.
Well, you didn't really know me.
Literally
He saw. I didn't really know Matt other than from Twitter. He saw man down struggling over here, and he's like, I gotta help that guy.
Well, no, you retweeted some of the because I was tweeting a lot during the tournament.
Yeah.
With like random stats and stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna join Vish's show because I saw you were live. It was like
Me
a
and
random
Matt
morning.
didn't actually know each other until Houston.
I mean, you met Matt like 30 seconds after you met me.
Yeah, but me and you had
When
talked on
Vish-
Twitter. Me and
Vin-
Matt didn't even know each other.
Well, I wasn't super active on Twitter at this like point, and so Vish called and he's like, oh yeah, like we're gonna go to Andre Johnson's thing, whatever. Like I'm, do you know who Hoodie Girl is? And I was like, who? Like Hoodie Girl? I was like, no, I'm not sure I do. And he's like, oh, from Twitter. And I was like, oh, that's why. Like I'm not really super on Twitter, but yeah, met you in person.
Anyway, as Melissa's locked in on her extra screen or her screen froze, what do you think it is?
She froze.
She definitely
I'm gonna
froze.
Screenshot that.
Gotta grab it. Gotta grab it.
It looks like one of those old like pictures.
You know what? This is karma
Like-
for her screenshotting me before the show started, and all right, she's now back. She is
Sorry.
back. She is
It
back.
looked like she was doing a photo
but-
shoot at
oh.
like Spears or something.
Oh, don't
My-
worry. Don't worry.
I was clicking onto YouTube because I was gonna see if I could scroll to find it, and my browser moved, and so when I clicked it, it turned my Wi-Fi off.
Anyway,
So
it was
that was
captured. It was captured. All right, a little bit more hoops, and then we got a Mount Rushmore. But so overall, let's go back to the men because I think we talked about the women, and so much without a coach, it's so hard to even like.
Yeah.
Because there might still be more churn on the women when the new coach comes in. If the relationship isn't there, we'll see. Haven't really seen any rumors other than the fake when the USF coach started. So, by the way, you can. I don't care who has their what sources. I can tell you right now, you can tell it's fake when. Oh yeah, we were really aggressively trying to get him, but he couldn't leave USF, and then there's no other candidates for like another week. We clearly are waiting for the tournament to play out before actually starting. Like. Really getting serious about candidates. So anyway, bullshit rumor confirmed. But on the men's side, so we do have right now, let's just assume it doesn't matter which one of the small forwards come back. I know we talked about where we go, but that puts us at 6 to 7 players depending on Norwich. How many more do you think? And then the 3 high school ones, do you think we're going to go 1, 2 more in the portal? What are we thinking portal wise?
I think 2 is the magic number.
Because we're probably about 8-ish right now.
I'd say at least 1, but I would like to get 2.
Matt.
Yeah, I think I would try to get at least 2 more. Yeah.
And we're thinking definitely one needs to be like a ball handling guard.
Yeah.
And
100%.
then
Like a secondary playmaker that can create their own shot.
And then the other one probably depends on who comes back, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But I guess at this point, so unfortunately these things don't happen in sequence, right? So there's no universe in which we don't need a backup point guard that can handle the ball. So you're Coach L right now, and you're not. Let's assume like he doesn't have more information than we do. You're not sure on the 3 small forwards, but probably think you're going to get one back. It's probably a safe bet. You're not sure on Norchad. Where are you attacking? Because you both said you wanted 2. One's definitely point guard. What other position are you attacking?
Assuming Norchad leaves, another big.
No, you don't know. Right now, you're Coach L, right? I'm trying to do 2 things. One, I think it's an interesting topic. 2, shows you the difficulty these coaches have, which DJ Irving talked about with us in the preseason, right? Okay, so you don't know.
I'd get another big.
So you're thinking center, power forward? What are we thinking? Like traditional big?
Whatever.
I know you're.
I would get like a bigger. Yeah, I would get like a bigger wing.
But like someone to play like the 3.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah,
Okay.
like a tweener. Yeah.
I mean, where are you getting a freshman big, dude? Mike needs to go.
Mike's not coming back. Mike's in the portal. He's gone.
Mike needs to go. He needs to go somewhere else, and then he can transfer again next to your favorite hairstyle. I might actually go. I think we could use another shooting guard. Because I know Jalil's going to start and play a ton, but there's like nothing behind there because I think Schwartz is definitely more of a 3, and the other guys were, assuming one of the 3 comes back, also more of a 3. I don't like our guard. I think we really only have like 2 guards on this team right now.
Yeah, I think it should just be like a combo guard, a guy that can play make and score, not necessarily like a true point guard or what have you, like just someone that can do a little bit of both. I know that Trey Dinkins was a name that we're really after. I think that's someone that would kind of fill.
What do you think happened there? Because he visited, right?
I don't know if I don't think he visited. I thought
he was the one that was supposed to visit, right? Who visited on April 1st?
Brandon Johnson.
That was Brandon Johnson.
Oh, I thought Dinkins also was visiting.
I don't think so. Unless I didn't see it.
I mean, you would have been more up to it on that than I will. So
no, you never know, man. Give yourself more credit.
I don't stay up with the news as much as you do. Although I do read the group chats.
What group chat?
Ours. He's digging at us because we don't.
I know. I'm joking. It was down for a little bit though, so obviously you didn't read it during that time. Me and Melissa did.
We were texting. It was like, yo, it won't let me send photos.
I was at work doing work stuff.
I just worked 5 days in a row. I had today off.
You had a day off in the middle there, I feel.
I worked 2 12-hour shifts, had 1 day off, and then worked 3 12-hour shifts.
So when she said 5 days in a row, Matthew, what did you think? Because I believe I heard day off in the middle there.
When you work nights, 1 day off in between it's like nothing.
Day off is day off. Is this just because it's Vernon Carey's son? Because absolutely not a take.
Ronnie James entered the portal.
Well, Matt, your thoughts on that?
Are we really going to talk about this?
I brought it up just because.
Well, I mean, we don't have to do a full breakdown.
Did he actually enter the portal though? Because I saw something after that he hasn't officially and stuff.
Well, his name's not officially in the portal yet, but it was announced he was entering the portal.
I mean, he's another one. I'll just say.
He's not going to come here.
I was about to.
I don't want him here. I don't want him here.
I'll say
it's too much hysteria and.
But I'll say 2 things with that. One is agree he's not coming here. 2, he's definitely an NIL's been brokered already before he hits the portal. So unless we have a lot of money, because it's not even basketball related. You got LeBron James' son. That's a cash influx to your program, so you got to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
End of story. So and LeBron's a businessman. The money.
I mean, he's gonna go to a Nike school too, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, probably. That's where the relationship is.
Yeah.
Good point. Whoever it is already brokered.
Embiid is sponsored by Skechers now, so anything's possible.
Big men don't sell shoes.
Isn't anything is possible? The Adidas slogan or one of them.
I thought Adidas' slogan was the brand with the 3 stripes.
3 stripe life.
Oh, I think Adidas is impossible as nothing.
Oh. All right. Are we doing Mount Rushmore?
I mean, I think so. Is there any other hoops stuff?
I don't know. Should we ask Canes Cats Heat?
Matt.
Go Beach.
Go Beach.
Oh, look. I have this handy. Jordan Miller.
Yeah.
I just realized it was to the side here.
Cam McGusty. Yes, Tim James is always watching over me now, thanks to Matt.
You're welcome.
Oh, this was thanks to Nate.
These were thanks to my bank account.
All right. Tonight's Mount Rushmore. We're going to do a Mount Rushmore because we just got 2 commits. So,
hey, things are looking up. The last week, so after just getting repeatedly kicked in the nuts for like 3 weeks, we got Nigel back. Well, I mean, there was still the little, I mean.
Do we really have to justify why we're doing a Rushmore? Like,
yes.
Yes.
Who gives a fuck? We do whatever we want.
And that is how AJ Casey plays offense, and we're not going to be doing that. All right, enough with the beach. Enough with the beach.
Wait,
actually, we will absolutely not. Would
quick
not.
Question.
The Dirtbags are a rival.
Wait, quick question. If I can get us when you guys are here in California to do a show in the Pyramid, can we do it?
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
Look at Vicious face.
What? Yeah, of course.
Oh, sweet. Cool. Okay.
That'd be awesome.
Dude, at this point, both of you should know I can wire anything to anything. Yes.
Dongles for days.
You see that happen.
When Matt's here, when Matt's in Miami, though, we need to do buckets from buckets. Well, hi, Max. Max,
what's up, Max?
Max, I have a serious question for you. Have you bought a hoodie yet?
He bought 2 new pairs of shoes that are nice.
He hasn't bought a hoodie yet.
He spent all his money on shoes.
Anyway, yes, we can do the show from anywhere there is cell phone reception, because I can tether to my phone and we can run the whole thing off of there even. So
we're gonna do it from the top of the pyramid.
I mean, I'm sure there's good reception.
Max, AB's not gonna answer you right now. I'll text you. let me text him.
Anyway, so yes, the show can be done from anywhere. I have not brought up the topic of doing buckets from buckets. I was arranging something else while you were harassing me about every other thing. So, but you now know what I was working on.
Kane's Cat's Heat, you better buy a hoodie.
All right, can we do the what was it? Oh yeah. So no, we are going to justify the Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
So since last Wednesday's show, we have got Nigel back, and we've got a couple of big time transfers in. So you know what? This is as good as it's been since like we beat Clemson and made fun of PJ Hall's mom. So we are we are basking in the glow of this because the baseball team can't even score a run. So
right. So tonight's Mount Rushmore, because we've been talking transfer portal, is our favorite transfer portal guys on the Canes of all time. Our favorite transfer Canes.
I gotta say, I did not realize the inspiration for the topic when you picked it. That is good segue, transition, and topical. I totally went over my head.
I'm useful to have around occasionally.
Well, when you're not trying to get Matt out of here, apparently, and say the show existed before him.
No, I was just saying, like, it was when the show existed with all 3 of us agreeing to do the show. But I was like, do we count Coach naming the show as the anniversary? But we can count it from.
It was definitely the first time.
The 3 of us. I will go back and find it, and that'll be the.
Kane's cat. He is unloading his Mount Rushmore into the chat. We got Jordan Miller.
Yeah. There's
a lot. Charlie Moore.
There are a lot of options.
Yeah, Shane. Like, we could have a debate on.
I guess because everybody knows mine. Am I going first again? Is this how it's happening?
So a Mount Rushmore is.
Mount Rushmore is 4 people.
It's 4.
So you're gonna have to narrow that down, Kane's Cat's Heat.
It's not 6. It's 4.
Yeah. So I guess am I going first because of my obvious first choice?
Sure.
All right. My favorite transfer Kane and Ash's favorite player of all time is Kenny Kaji. Obviously.
Matt, you can bat second.
You want me to go for second? Okay.
Yeah, go for
it. Max. I'm gonna go with a guy that when we did the draft, I put him on my team. And I said, I think he's one of the most underrated guys in the history of our program. just because of how efficient he was offensively. He was like ahead of his time. Sheldon McClellan. Sheldon Mack is on my list.
Sheldon Mack. Nice. Nice. I'm gonna go with his teammate Angel Rodriguez. And he
Are we doing? We're not allowed to do repeats.
No, you can do repeats. There's not that many. But he punked Florida. He had me at that point. I was like, man, we got a Puerto Rican point guard shitting on Florida. Man, this is Miami at its finest.
My second guy was my first pick in the draft, Jack McClinton.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. Jersey up in the Raptors.
Yep. Well, I got to go with a guy that was part of two of the most successful teams in Miami Hurricanes history. My guy, Jordan Miller.
You did it.
Team,
just did everything on the floor for us. All the little things that don't show up on box score. You know, definitely can tell we missed him this year. He was that leader that we had on the floor and whatnot. So definitely got to go with Jordan Miller.
It's obviously a solid pick. All right, I'm going to go with one we hadn't really talked about, but I think was kind of an unsung hero of the 13 team is Trey McKinney-Jones.
There you go.
You can still do it.
I'm trying not to repeat.
I was trying not to repeat.
I mean, are there actually 12 we can even think? 12 we can even think of.
We'll see.
We can institute no repeats and see how far we get.
Because I'm gonna try.
I think we can do it.
I think we can do it. All right, let's go no repeats.
I'm gonna try not to repeat. My third guy obviously has to be Norchad.
Okay.
I mean, everybody knows my love for him, so I'm gonna go with Norchad.
All right, we can potentially no repeat.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options in the chat.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna save one guy for last because I know you guys aren't gonna pick him. At least I don't think so. I'm gonna go with I have two guys. I'm gonna go with Kamari Murphy. I've talked about him a lot on the show. I think he was, another guy that was underrated. Just what he brought on the defensive side of the floor, the intensity he played with, and whatnot. He was a huge part of what made those teams successful when he was there. But yeah, that's my third, right?
Yep, yeah. You have Sheldon, Jordan.
Yeah. Okay.
So far as Angel and TMJ.
And my third selection, I'm going Cam McGusty.
Okay. No matter what, it's not going to be a repeat.
Nope.
I don't think.
My fourth guy, I mean, can't leave this guy out. I'm gonna go with Shane.
What? No one had picked him.
No one picked him. I honestly, I was gonna pick him before, but I didn't want one of you to say Norchad. Like, it was more important for me to have Norchad on my list.
Well, these are our favorite players, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, no, this is not a ranking of
like
top,
all the best.
Yeah. Otherwise,
I'm gonna go with Shane. Yeah. I wanted Norchad on my list, and I
am so fascinated who Matt's gonna pick. He's like, we're not gonna pick him, and now he just wants to solidify.
No, but we'll recap it at the end because it'll make a better clip. Because then I can clip it, and then anyway.
Yeah, no, but I'm curious who's gonna pick. Okay. Wait, before you pick, here are the hints he's given us. We're not gonna pick the same one, and then he just asked. We're just to clarify, we're not talking about the best. Like, I have no idea. I can't wait to hear this. Go for it, Matt.
Keith? No, I'm just kidding.
I swear to God. I will. You know what? No, let's say you were about to see someone get booted. You were about to see it.
I'm going to go with my guy. He's actually been on the show. It wasn't for a long time.
Oh,
we had a good time.
Malcolm.
He's an entertainer. My guy, MG3, Malcolm Grant, one of the funniest human beings I know.
You got to talk to him because we need to get him on the show. We need to get.
We're gonna get him on.
But we need to have him on for the full show. Like, he should be a part of the rush.
Yeah, we will. We will. Inventor of the 4-step. Picked up some things from him dribbling and whatnot. One of the flashiest guys I've seen. I got to go with Malcolm Grant.
I totally forgot about the relationship there. I'm like, who the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. A lot of people forget he transferred too.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe we did this with no repeats. That's awesome. Vish, what's your fourth?
Kenny Conji. No, I'm just kidding. You said no repeats. Now. I know. It's messing with you. I'm going with Charlie Moore. I love the redemption story. I remember when we got him that really picked that guy. And if you recall, at that point in time, we were in a rut. all the Adidas shit had like weakened our program, and not only did like we go get this dude had bounced around so much, but then we started off terrible that year, and it was like by the time Dayton was beating the shit out of us, it was like, what is going on with this program? And people were pointing at Charlie Mormulate. So what happens when you bring that kind of person here, and by March, as he is lifting us to his hometown of Chicago, it's like, boy, they got this high character guy in here to help settle the program down. He's seen it all, and it's just like, I love that.
Is there anybody else that we didn't say that you would want to include? Because I feel like Nigel could be one that could.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Nigel for sure.
For sure.
He was one of the ones that I kind of had on my list too.
Oh yeah, Nigel for sure. I think Nigel is one that I thought that was just basically just for Matt. I think Nigel is one, and I talked about this actually last week when we're like he is going to go down as one of the great players in school history.
So I think Nigel's like our honorable mention.
I mean, he's too good for Mount Rushmore. He's on another level.
Yeah. So you guys want to recap your top four favorite transfers? Vish, go first.
Who do I pick? I'm just thinking about Nigel now. I'm thinking about Nigel.
I got Sheldon Mack. I got Kamari Murphy, Jordan Miller, and MG3 Malcolm Grant, the legend himself.
Yeah, Vish. No, I've got Angel, Cam, Charlie Moore, TMJ.
And mine are Kenny Kaji, Jack McClinton, Norchad O'Meara, and Shane Larkin. With an honorable mention to Nigel.
I'll tell you right now, if next year goes well, which I think it will, Nigel Pack is going to go down as one of the best players in school history and like be revered as such. We're in a bit of a rut now.
And preference, this is our favorite transfers. This isn't us like listing like the top transfers of all time. These are just our favorites. So that's why Kenny and Norchad are on my list.
Yeah, so
people just think I'm crazy when I talk about Kenny Kaji. They're like, who?
This logic don't hold, man. That does not automatically make them better than Nigel. I think when Nigel has already been the starting point guard on a Final Four team and most outstanding player of the regional, and if he comes back and has a strong year and the team is good again, you're gonna. I think people are gonna be surprised as next year is winding down. If we're a good team, and you look back on his legacy here, just like how much of a mark he left, especially when he was targeted as he's just in it for the money and all that crap, and he's the one who's still here. Past his NIL deal. It's just, again, I love the arcs. What a turn. Remember, we got is he going to even play with Zay? Remember all this crap when we first got him? Like, he's going to want the ball. He's going to be a ball hog. He's completely unselfish.
Yep.
It's like totally not all of the stereotypes about him are completely wrong. It's a kid you root for. Out of all the players in the team, like to come back, he's the one I wanted back, and I think he's going to paint his legacy.
Kane's Cat has a suggestion for a Mount Rushmore. Let's see what he says.
We're going to judge you if it's a bad one.
Next players players deserving of getting their jersey retired or honored. Maybe honored, not necessarily retired.
Yeah, retired. The only answer is Zay Wong.
Yeah.
No one else should have their jersey retired.
Dude, okay. So, can I just say something? I was so high on Elijah Oloniyi when he got announced that he was going to transfer here. That season was just like so bad because he in the middle of the season was cleared to play. I don't know if you remember that, Vish.
Yeah.
I do wonder, like, if he was able to play from the start, if things would have gone differently. At least for him. But yeah.
So there is a reason that only
two
James
players
and Rick Barry have their numbers retired, and that's because they or Hurricane. You don't pick a guy who was here for like a year or two and retire their jersey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, even
That's not how
Jack
it works.
McClendon's isn't retired. It's
Yeah, it's honor, and that's why Melissa made
Yeah.
the distinction. You don't retire people's jerseys that were here for like a year.
yeah.
It's not how it works. Sorry, I mean it's McClinton was closer and they didn't retire his because he was here. I think was it 3 years or was it 2
He was here
years?
3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean he was at least, but like I love Shane. He was here 2 years and he left. Like that's
Yeah.
not going to get your jersey retired.
Long was here for 4. Was ACC
Jordan,
Player of the
too.
Year. That is so
Yeah.
Final Four. He's definitely deserving.
and that's why I was talking about Nigel's legacy. That third year, if we're good, is going to really
honor. Honor.
elevate him. Yeah, no, honor is if you actually look at the route, you can tell the difference.
Mhm.
No, the only ones that are retired are actually Tim James and Rick Barry. And I think Jay
and Rick Barry gave permission for Nigel to wear his number. That's why Nigel has the patch on his jersey.
Yeah, and I do think Zay's jersey belongs retired with this.
Yeah, I don't think anybody should be wearing number 2 ever again at Miami.
Yeah, sure. If Jaleel Mathea leads us to the championship and we win the Natty, we'll make an exception. 1 year is fine. You can retire that jersey.
One ever again.
You can retire that jersey. Dude, I went to college with James Jones. His jersey should absolutely not be retired. He would tell you that.
All right. NBA grid? No, I'm just kidding.
Matt, do you want to?
Sure. Melissa,
are we?
Not NBA grid.
No,
else.
not NBA grid. I was trying to make something else happen for your birthday, but it just couldn't happen.
You couldn't get in touch with Kenny Kaji?
Well, I did actually.
No, you didn't.
I have a line with Kenny Kaji. I was trying to get him to come on the show, but he's in playoffs right now in Dubai.
Don't lie to me like that.
I am not lying to you.
We've been working on your fucking birthday for weeks, man.
Give me a second. I will literally pull up the DM.
No, he's being totally serious.
I appreciate the effort if that's true.
No, but we are going to. Yeah, that is.
Oh, you actually DM'd him.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
no, there was.
That's hilarious.
No, they're in the.
You didn't tell him like stalkerish things about me, did you?
Oh, I only told him that you mention him every single show.
Perhaps
and sent him a clip.
Perhaps it's some receipts.
No, you didn't.
No, I did. I did tell him.
No, Matt, I can tell her this, right? Like, so he couldn't come on because they're in the playoffs, but he is going to come on this summer at some point. So
I got to get my jersey finished.
Yeah, you better hurry.
You need to send. I need screenshots of this message.
I will send you the screenshots.
I appreciate the effort, Matt. That would have the ultimate birthday present behind the Canes making the Final Four and a Coach Meyer video.
Things have been efforted behind the scenes here.
If you guys that listen or watch this pod haven't noticed, the three of us are like family at this point. Like Vish and Matt are like my brothers. So
it's like Olive Garden. When you're on the show here, you're family.
Oh, come on, man. We can do better.
What?
I mean, I do enjoy their breadsticks and all-you-can-eat salad.
Yeah. Oh, dude, come on.
The breadsticks.
When they have the all-you-can-eat pasta, I'm there. Come on. It's not the best, but it's like what, like $15 for unlimited pasta?
I don't even know that
it's so cheap. You can buy.
I don't even know that I've ever ordered an entree there. I literally just get the all you can eat like soup and salad.
Well, you don't eat anything. That's why.
Oh, I don't have a humongous appetite. So
yeah, no, it makes sense. It's like Chick-fil-A, you mean? Got so many inappropriate jokes about Chick-fil-A stance on several things I'm not going to make here. All right.
Guys, if you would have brought Kenny Kaji on without me knowing, I don't know how I would have reacted.
That was actually the plan.
Yeah, it would have been so funny.
To just be like, hey, Matt, you want to introduce Matt was the one doing it, so I was definitely not going to introduce him. I was like, Matt, you want to introduce our guest? And just like him say it, then just hit the button. And...
I might have fallen over.
We did it. Yeah.
Like if you had him backstage while we were doing our favorite players, and I was just like, yeah, obviously Kenny Kaji. So wait, how did you find him, by the way?
I first reached out to Julian, and he was gonna help me, and then I noticed that he started a new Instagram page because I was trying to find him because he's not super active on social media, and I just DM'd him and he responded right away. So I think
See, Kenny's a good guy. See that? You can't.
he's
You
actually
can't.
playing with Daquan Jones right now too. They're on the same team
Oh,
apparently. Yeah.
Nice.
So, but yeah,
Does Olive Garden have mac and cheese? Actually, probably not.
I have no idea.
That's a Melissa question.
I mean, you can. I mean, I haven't had Olive Garden in a long time, but I mean, they offer you the Parmesan cheese on like everything, so you could basically make mac and cheese. Golke's out of eligibility.
No, he's talking about on the
No,
team
he's
in
talking
Dubai.
about
That
in
Kenny
Dubai.
Gaji and Daquan Jones
Oh.
are playing on. No, what the plan was absolutely to like Kenny Kaji bomb this show.
My jersey's not ready yet, though.
By the way, I got to get into like game shape. Natalia's coach said that they're doing like a coaches versus players game, and he wanted me to play in it.
You gotta call him out. You have to cool him.
I was already shit talking her teammates, man. You don't understand.
Oh,
This-
you're recovering from like a broken foot.
I know, but I'm getting back.
It doesn't matter. You gotta
Getting
go out
back.
there.
Don't matter.
He's like Nigel Pack. He'll go out there on one leg and fall out anyway.
Yeah, I don't need my ankle to shoot.
But yeah, I think were you surprised with the Coach Meyer video? That was all a ruse. And then his internet actually stopped. When he said, like, my connection's choppy, I was like, are you doing a bit? Because we had planned that out. He's like, no, it's actually not working. Like,
It's actually not working, Fish.
The Kenny Kaji thing would have been insane.
Yeah.
I know.
Like-
I was trying to make it happen, but it was just, yeah.
It's
too
better
hard.
that I'm mentally prepared for it anyway.
That's
Yeah.
why he asked me backstage, should I just tell her? I was like, probably a good idea. We don't need you dying on
Yeah.
air.
I gotta get my jersey completed.
Can you imagine if she just like passed out? Like you bring him in and she passed out, and he's like, "Oh shit!" Like,
I think she would more just be like, what the? I think it would be more frozen than like.
I probably would have been like, oh fuck. And then I may have turned my camera off for a second just to regain like my composure.
she would have hated us though too, because or at least me, because she wouldn't have, she wouldn't have had any preparation or anything.
I don't think does she need to prepare to ask any
I would
questions?
have but no, I gotta wear the formal hoodie when Kenny Kaji comes in.
What the fuck are we talking about?
I mean, I am wearing a new hoodie, so I mean, at least that's appropriate. But and like, I not even anything about him on the board. Like, I'd have to have like a big 35 or something. I gotta get that 2012, 2013 poster hung up.
I was trying to get you like something Kenny Kaji related, but
There's
couldn't
probably
find
not any
anything.
merch for Kenny Kaji.
Yeah.
Oh my god, could
But-
you imagine if he bought a hoodie?
You know, we could comp him a hoodie and see if he'll wear it on the show.
Send him a hoodie.
Yeah.
We should send
Just
him a
gotta
hoodie.
send it.
I
To
mean,
Dubai.
It's had
By
to
the way,
buy, and it's got to be like.
It's very appropriate that Shane's on my list because he sits at the
he's
end
the
of my
bobblehead.
desk.
I mean,
Just saying.
how big do those things run? Because he's tall as fuck. So
Well,
it's gonna be like
the zip up hoodie comes in like goes up to like 4X or something.
I think he's gonna need the biggest one because he's so
Yeah.
fucking tall that like.
But it's gonna be huge on him because like, usually they get the like the jerseys or whatever, it's like a large, but then it's like +2 length or +3 length, you know what I mean? So it's gonna
No, you
Well,
got to get him
for
the
a hoodie,
just
though,
get
you
him
can
the
go
biggest size of the logo hoodie. So he has my face on the front,
you're stamping him.
right?
Hmm.
He's probably completely weirded out that someone's like his biggest fan.
I don't think so. No, he was.
No, he was like, you know what he said?
He's like, this
So
is
you can-
cool.
Yeah,
Basically,
he said that's so cool. He's like, I'm gonna have to tune in then.
Oh shit!
Yeah, no,
I hope
I
he
mean-
does. Kenny, if you're watching this right now, just so you know, I've always been a fan. So, like, I have a 35 jersey waiting to wear on the show. I just have to get the numbers ironed on.
Like,
It is-
Stretch
it is,
4. Just send
Yeah,
them
that-
the intro.
Well, you don't name drop him there. However,
But
so
you know what's
okay,
funny?
so Matt and I were last week. He was like, "Do you have the clips of her?" I'm like, of her talking about Kenny Kaji, and I was like, I don't remember which show she's done that on.
But
I said, well, hold on. Like, do you think like we all have like all of the shows archived, where it's just like, oh yeah, let me go find the draft? You gotta go find it, right? But then like I was like, but I have this picture of you because you'd sent the picture with the numbers laid down. I was like,
Mhm.
because he's trying to basically prove that we aren't making this shit up to Kenny Kanji. So I sent him that, and then literally, like, we did a show that day, and like 2 minutes in, you named out Kenny Kanji. I was like, well, you can clip that easily.
Why didn't you just clip the draft of me drafting him? That's not that hard to find. Honestly,
well,
It's
it,
effort.
it's a bad setup because if there's anybody that's gonna know where things were said in a show, it's me because I rewatched them.
I don't know, going and finding the draft episode, then clipping it, or we just had to wait till the next show and you name dropped him in like the first 5 minutes, and I texted Matt. I'm like, well, you can clip that easily since she just did it.
there was one where you were talking about him. You were like, I don't know if it was a draft or if it was when we were doing a Mount Rushmore or something.
Mhm.
But
Who is this?
SDSU.
Minus for the 50 burger from the Pistons today, man.
Who is it?
On the Pistons?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Sorry, I had to take my ankle brace on. It's like super itchy.
That's what the crunching noise was.
Oh, Malachi Flynn. Oh yeah.
Who the
I didn't
hell is
even
that?
realize. I
There's
didn't
the
even
list.
realize.
There's the list from today.
There you go. I didn't even realize he was on the Pistons now. I knew he was on the Raptors for a long time. I haven't been paying attention to NBA at all.
So wait, which clip did you send him?
No, I sent him the one from like last week when you were talking about Kenny
Yeah, because you
Kanji.
brought it up again. I was like, well, that'll be easier to
But
find. since
there
you
was
did
one
it.
where you were talking about like, oh, I'm gonna take the stretchiest of stretch fours, Kenny Kanji, and I was like, that might be a weird one to send him. I'm not gonna send him that one.
I don't
But
know
then
that
also-
I'm the stretchiest.
But it was something like that, and then like after Vish was like, well, I'm gonna take a guy whose jersey is actually retired. So I was like, okay, this one maybe I shouldn't send him because
I got nothing against Kenny Kanji. You got to balance things out, though. That was
Yeah.
my pick, Tim James, I guess.
yeah, Tim James.
I mean,
Listen, Kenny freaking Kaji.
yeah,
that-
no, but there's not. I also looked for Kenny Kanji merch. I couldn't find it. I was like, you know what? I bet I can just get
Okay.
Coach to record something.
I'm gonna. I have to get that jersey ironed. I gotta go back to the team store. I have it.
Because I was
I
like,
just-
can I get some Kenny Kanji stuff? And I'm like, you know what?
Listen, I have Kenny Kaji merch because I still have the 2012-2013 team poster.
But anyway, so then I was like, I bet Coach would record a message, and there you go.
She's a legend.
She is a legend.
AB did like the idea of putting a goat on the basketball hoodie. I said because I texted him about it, so I screenshotted it to Matt, and because AB thought that was hilarious. Because I was like, oh, like you know how the two main parties have like a donkey and an elephant. Matt said we should use a goat, and he actually thought that was hilarious.
It was a good idea, man.
We almost did it,
idea.
but then instead we decided to do the Final Four Elite Eight thing on the side. So originally we weren't gonna do that one, but I kind of was like, but I want to do a hoops one, and then he was like, yeah, your fandom's too big to not do a hoops one, so we ended up doing it.
A
There's
floorboard.
Kenny Kaji floorboard on eBay. What floorboard? That team should have been our first Final Four run. It really should have. That was like the best all-around team we've ever had.
We've blown the tournament a few times. That one,
Shane Larkin had food poisoning.
the 99 2000 team.
I think Max just sent us the link in our group DM.
The 99 2000 team did the hard part and then lost to Tulsa.
I guess
the
it's
13 team did the hard part and then lost to Marquette.
I think this is complete crap because it's only $19.
No, you're not getting an unsigned floorboard for $19. Is this thing authenticated?
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't even like. I don't even know what that says, and then
Wait, what does COA mean?
I don't know.
Because it says floorboard COA. Is this like a picture of a floorboard? What does COA mean?
Let me look it up
because like it feels like a certificate of authenticity. So you think this is actually a piece of wood?
Does that even look like Kenny Kaji? Like name
It
at all.
looks like a 35.
I mean, it looks like a 35.
I have to tell you guys something later. Oh god, that's funny.
Max is looking for Kenny Kaji memorabilia. I have a legit Kenny Kaji memorabilia. It's not signed though.
Well, if he's ever back in Miami, Matt Bridges here can hook it up. You can get him to sign it. You know, we've had Durant.
Look at him. You see him there?
Is that scoring runs, Max? Because that would be good. If we score more than 0 runs, we might have a chance in the next game against Duke.
Look, we've had two of these guys on the show already.
We could probably you might be able to like get all of them to sign it.
Well, I mean, we've already had Julian and Durand on the show, so I'm sure they'd be willing to if they were in Miami. I comment on Julian's IG stuff all the time. But yeah, before I get it framed, I'm waiting to see if I can get anyone to sign it.
Well, I think definitely. I think if as long as we see them in person, I think it'd definitely get Durant and Julian to do it.
Yeah.
Matt's got a line on Kenny Kaji. I don't think we've tried to get like Trey McKinney-Jones, but we might be able to. Like, I think
we got to figure out exactly.
There's a non-zero chance you could get all of those 6 guys that are across the top to sign it.
I mean, honestly, if Kenny signed it, I would be fine with whatever else.
Road trip to get all the signatures.
Road trip to Dubai.
Road trip to Dubai.
Oh man.
There are certain countries I'm not allowed to go to.
When are we doing buckets again?
Depends.
Is Coach available yet?
I was asking her to do something else instead of come on the show. Now that you know that, will you please back off a little bit? I was like, even when you were like, can I text her? I was like, I guess. And that's why I said she might bring. She brought up the shorts on her own. I didn't say crap. I was like, can you record a birthday message? Like, even better, I still have the shorts.
She says that she has the shorts.
Yeah, no. So like she brought. That's why I was like, she might like when you're like you're messaging. I was like, she might tell you about the shorts because she just told me about the shorts.
I was worried. Actually, I was worried she didn't have them anymore because that was so long ago.
No, I don't. I told actually I'll follow up with her because I told her next time in town we'll come by and grab them. So we can do that when I'm in town in a couple of weeks.
Let's go. Next weekend, not this weekend. Next weekend I'm away. But are we doing a show this weekend?
It's so we would do a show next Wednesday unless, as usual.
Okay.
It is a newsy time of year, so we might get a, Norchat staying type of thing.
Reach out to Malcolm.
Oh yeah.
Malcolm, we would just do on a normal show though. But I think like if we hire a women's basketball coach or if like Norchat,
yeah, I think we should
wait
a little bit.
And we need to plan the OG. We need to plan the OG show too.
That's an off-season one, like after we get through the news cycles. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's happening. What were you saying, Matt?
I completely forgot to be honest.
You think we should wait?
Oh, we should wait for Malcolm until like you said for the OG show. I think we should wait.
Yeah, but we kind of already said who's going to be on the OG show, like in a bunch of different ways, being like, oh, so it's going to be Nate, Canes Cats Heat, Jackson, and Bill.
Yep.
Those are our 4 OGs are going to be on.
And surprise appearance from Montreal. No, I'm just kidding.
just so I can ban him. I wonder what the maximum. I think you can have 7 in a stream. I don't know what our maximum throughput is. But
hey, Matt, for Vish's birthday, can we get Keith Stone on?
So just to recap, I get Katie Meyer off of her boat in the Keys to record a birthday message, and you wanna fuck with me on my birthday? Like, what is wrong with you?
I could get Tim James. I wouldn't have any questions. Like, I don't know what to ask him because
Oh my God, Vish, would you be like that? Would that be like your?
I don't get starstruck, so I wouldn't.
What if I got James Jones?
I mean, I actually went to college with him. He lived on the floor with me. Not that he remembers me, but I've talked to him quite a bit in college. I don't get starstruck. This is not something that happens. I'm not going to flip it like I can't believe. Although Keith Stone would surprise me, I'll tell you that. I would definitely not have it. I was like, yeah. After they reminded me, I remembered your name. Sorry, but.
What about Bruce Brown?
That would be epic.
I mean, Bruce Brown's probably the toughest player that we foreign player we have right now to get. I guess. Period.
I talked to him. You know that one Nuggets game I went to where they won? Yeah, help me out. I talked to him for like a minute, and then like 6 girls came over and were like, "Bruce," like, you know, and I was like, "Oh."
No, he is actually he is our most other than Rick Barry, who obviously is like way past that point of being like groupied. He's our most famous basketball woman, right now.
Like the most successful in the NBA.
Also, just the most famous. He's all over the NBA Finals recently.
Like on a national scale.
Yeah.
The Cowboy. And he's got a good last name, too.
No relation.
I wish.
Get some of that Bruce Brown money.
Anything else? That was a good, like, 20, 30-minute tangent.
Yeah, the Mount Rushmore flow into that when I'm editing.
So next show will be Wednesday, unless something happens.
I think we're pretty much on a Wednesday cadence now, barring
not
schedule
necessarily
issues.
because I do work every other Wednesday.
Oh, I messaged Jaleel today because I saw he posted a picture from the McDonald's All-American game, and I thought something was a little funny because I looked at his feet and he was wearing Hardens. And I was like, Jaleel,
he told us you
never were going to wear Hardens. What happened here? I'm still waiting for his response, but I thought that was really funny.
Wait, you're taunting? Please don't taunt Jaleel.
So we will be Wednesday next week
with him
because I'm off, but there are Wednesdays I work, so sometimes it might be Thursdays.
Actually, I think the Wednesday after next Wednesday, I'm going to the baseball game, I think. So also
we'll see, but because that's why I'm like, don't assume it's every Wednesday.
We're roughly on a Wednesday's schedule at this point. We'll see. Subject to change. Everything's always subject to change with Buckets.
Well, I work every other Wednesday, so it's not every Wednesday.
I didn't say every Wednesday. I said roughly on a Wednesday's schedule at this point.
50% of the time, we're on a Wednesday schedule.
50%, 100% of the time.
I would be working this coming Wednesday, but I used vacation days, so that's why I'm off.
Oh no, I'm going to Miami, so I'm going to go to our game and hopefully we'll score a run this time. But no, if I head out to watch the Nats,
This is a big Nats and Wizards fan.
Well, no, Matt. Max is friends with the catcher for the Wizards, and I went to a Wizards game. I was like, hey, that's my boy, and I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, that's what he is.
Are we ready for final thoughts?
Are we ready?
Thoughts?
Are we? What do you mean? What final thoughts? Your final thoughts.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Wait, are we actually ready?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So funny, the hoodie coming over. I'm still getting used to that. Final thoughts. I like how Vish muted himself. There's 2 things I love about this year. 1, March Madness. 2, it's the return of the Reese's eggs. And this is the best time of the year because this is when they're on sale and you can get them like 30% off at Target. They're the best, not just Reese's. They're the best candy you can buy. Melissa agrees with me. Doesn't matter what Vish thinks because we all know who the leader is here. The court of opinion will always favor Reese's. Go out and buy some. The GOAT. There you go.
To the soft outro. Don't cry. Keep it chill. Wear good socks.